Hello, first grade. Today is Monday, May 18th, and today we're going to be making a clock. So in your stream kit, you should have two paper plates. One paper plate has cuts around the edges, and the other plate does not. You'll need those. Also in your stream kit, you should have a baggie that has several things in it. It has toothpicks, but you don't need the toothpicks for today. We'll save those for Friday. However, what you will need out of the baggie is you should have an hour hand and a minute hand for your clock. You'll need both of those. And you should have a golden fastener, just a little golden fastener. You'll need that as well. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to construct your clock. So the first thing you'll need is the hour hand and the minute hand. And they should already have little holes poked in them, but if they don't, then you'll want a grown-up to help you to take scissors and poke little holes just here in the end of the strip. Now you'll want a grown-up to help you because since these are thin, skinny pieces of paper, when you poke a hole, it's very easy to rip out the bottom of your hand. So you'll want a grown-up to help with that. You can align your minute and hour hand. Take your fastener and then just poke it right through the holes, just like that. Then you're going to take your paper plate. First, you're going to take the paper plate that has the cuts around the edges. You're going to stick your hour and minute hand on that plate through putting the fastener through the hole in the plate. And then you should also have a hole in your second plate, the one with no cuts. And then you'll slide the fastener through that hole as well. Okay, then you might need to adjust your plates a little bit, kind of turn the front plate to where the plate just lines up really well with the second plate. Once you're ready for that, then you can turn it over. And on the back, you're just slightly going to press down the two different sections of your fastener. Now you don't want to put it on too tightly because if you do, then your hour hand and your minute hand will be challenging to move. So you want them to be a little loose. Not too loose that the hour and minute hand flop around, but enough that you'll be able to move them as you need. Okay, so once you have your hour and minute hand fastened on to your clock, now it's time to write numbers on our clock. And I have one here that I've already written the numbers on. And as you can see on a clock, the number that's at the very top of the clock is 12. Okay, I found it easiest to go ahead and start with the number 12 at the top, so that way I can make sure all the rest of my numbers get in the correct order, the correct place. Okay, then over here, you're going to have a number 1, and you're going to go around your clock and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And each number will be on its own section, little cut section here on the plate. Once you get the numbers 1 through 12 on this front plate, then we're going to write some numbers on the second plate. Now let me explain why we're going to have numbers on the second plate. So when we're telling time, the first hand that we look at is our hour hand. If you see, we have two hands. The short, fatter hand is the hour hand. The long, skinny hand is your minute hand. Okay, when we're telling time, the very first one we look at is the hour hand. And we see what number it's pointing to. Mine right now is pointing to the number 11. So I'm going to say it is 11. So our hour is 11. But when we look at the minute hand, when we tell the minutes, we can't just read the number that's there. So we wouldn't say it's 11:06. Instead, we're going to count by fives. So we'd start here with our 1. And we go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I would say it is 11:30. And as we're first learning this, it could be a little hard to remember that. So we're going to do something that's going to help us to remember that and help us to check ourselves when we're telling time. So we're going to start with the number 1. And back here behind our numbers, we're going to write our numbers by fives. So behind the number 1, you're going to write 5. Behind the number 2, you're going to write 10. Behind the number 3, you're going to write 15. And you'll keep going and you'll have 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, all the way to 60, because there are 60 minutes in an hour. Okay, so when you're done, you should have the numbers on your second plate all the way from 5 to 60. Now, when we tell time, when we go to look at the minutes, so when we look at our hour hand, we can say it's 11. And then when we look at our minute hand, we say it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And we can look to make sure we were right. Oh, there's the 30. We were correct. It is 11:30. Okay. Now in first grade, when we're talking about the minute hands, there's really only two positions we have to worry about. One is when it's down here on the 6. We know that's 30. And the other is whenever it's up, the minute hand is up here on the 12. So say, for instance, my time now, I look at my hour hand first and I see it is 1. And then my 12 has a 60 behind it because there's 60 minutes in an hour. We've been all the way around on our hour. But we don't say it's 1:60. Instead, when the minute hand is pointing to the 12, we say o'clock. It is 1 o'clock. Okay, so in first grade, we just worry about the o'clock. We can say it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then we also worry about when the minute hand is on the 6. We say it is 3:30. Okay, when you get to second grade, Mrs. Messer will help you to learn about telling time when your minute hand is on other positions of the clock. But for right now, we'll worry about when it is 3:30 or 3 o'clock. Now on Wednesday's video, we're going to talk a little bit more about telling time with our clock. And we're also going to talk about how you would write that out. So if you wanted to write down what time it is, how you would do that. But for now, have fun making your clock and then practice telling time with your family. You can set your hands of your clock on any position you want and see if your family can tell you what time it is. Then you can have your family set the hands of the clock on different positions and see if you can figure out what time it is. Have fun creating the clocks and practicing telling time. And join me again on Wednesday so we can talk a little bit more about telling time. Bye.